everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name's Jack. Today we've got a modular creator set for you. This is the Town Hall. This set is recommended for ages 14 and up. It is set number 10224 and it has 2,766 pieces. That makes it the biggest of the modular creator sets so far. And by the way, this thing was released back in 2012. Included are 8 minifigs. We've got a bride and groom, the mayor, a janitor, 2 children, a press photographer, and a secretary. This building is 3 stories and rests a bit higher than some of the other modular buildings out there. And I like that the way you get minifigures between the floors is actually by using an elevator. All right, let's check out how many bags are inside this gigantic box. Alright, so as expected, there are a ton of bags inside this box. There's only 3 numbers. We've got a bunch of bag 1s, a few bag 2s, and also a lot of bag 3s. There's an unmarked bag with a ton of plates here. We've got a manual. I think there are 3 manuals actually, and underneath all of these bags is one pretty big, nice tan base plate. There's a lot of stuff to get going. This first set of bags, all the bag 1s, is gonna be a ton of stuff, so I'm gonna get started right now and see how fast this build goes. Okay, the build is finally complete and we've got this massive town hall in front of us. And it certainly is massive. This is the tallest of the modular builds that has been made so far. It's got a great shape on the outside. There's a lot of really good external features. And I guess I'll just go through some of the highlights, maybe just starting from the bottom and working my way up. The front entrance here is probably the most grandiose part of the build. We've got a great shape for these columns in the front. They create a very distinct and recognizable kind of column shape. Judging on how the rivets kind of point through, it almost looks like these things are actually cylindrical, but in fact they're made entirely of right angles. We've got a nice little slanted awning above with some details showing skeleton legs, a shield, and a couple of croissants. Definitely some creative pieces used there, but they seem pretty fitting. The entranceway itself has some really nice sort of light tan stairs that lead towards the front doors, of which those front doors are very large and actually built with a few offset window pieces. This is certainly where the happily married couple would be taking their photos, and there's also a couple other nice details right on the front here with the street lamp, as well as a couple of little planter boxes with flowers. White wheel well pieces have been used to make that sort of archway above the windows, and you'll notice that they use the same pieces for the windows on the second floor. And also the rest of the building now changes from gray to the base color of what I was going to call reddish brown, but I believe it is classified as dark orange. It's a really fitting color for this building. It almost makes it look like this thing is made out of brick, but there's some great details to point out as we go up. We've got a nice little build for some planter boxes that are sticking out underneath the windows. The most eye-catching part of this second floor is probably the balcony that sticks out. There's actually a nice little build that holds that curved grate in the front, and I think it's really fitting that we have a glass door that leads out towards the balcony. It allows you to sort of see the interior of the second floor from the outside a little better, and it also lets you see the balcony on the outside if you're looking at the second floor from the interior. And those 1x2 pieces with those divots on the center are probably another detail that make this thing look somewhat brick-like, or made out of brick. You'll see that detailing follows all the way up to the front of the third floor, though this time there is no balcony. And also we have some simpler builds for the windows that are just a little bit smaller. The third floor, though it doesn't look quite as eye-catching as the other two floors, has some of the most clever building in the whole set. Namely, the easiest thing that jumps out at you is the 1891 sign. That was a fun little thing to build. But also we have some upside down curved pieces along the top edge that the designers actually fit in very creatively. There's some fun little reverse stud work there, and the effect looks really nice. And we're right at the edge here, so let's jump up to the roof. We've got a great build for the clock tower. I especially appreciate how the printed piece for the clock is framed so well. There's a very even white frame that goes around the edge, and it rests on top of those dark gray 1x2 grill pieces. Definitely makes it pop a bit more, and we've got an excellent build for the roof that encases the bell. It's a great little tower, and it certainly makes this whole build stand out a lot more, especially from a distance. And now that we can see the roof a little bit more from afar, you can see the two very large windows on the top. And when you look a little bit closer, you can see that those are the pieces that are most commonly used for garage doors. They work really well in this window setting, and they add a lot of extra light to the third floor. And the last thing up there is that dark gray rectangle that you might notice. It's just a hatch door that leads from the elevator to the roof here via a tiny little ladder. That's right, this thing does have an elevator. It works pretty well, actually. You can see how the mechanism works from behind. We have a little Technic grip here that allows you to pull the elevator up and down, and those are some stopper pieces that keep the elevator level at either floor 3 or floor 2. But heck, let's just drop the whole thing down to floor 1 and check out the interior. I'd say the first floor does actually have the best detailing on the inside. Connected straight to those entrance doors, we're in a small hallway that has a white and black checkerboard floor. And for just a second, we're gonna go past the clerk's office and that sort of staging area on the left and check out, this is what is called the auditorium, but I'm supposing this is the room, this is the largest room, and it's meant for what I believe are special occasions. This is where the minifigures would be getting married and they would be performing the ceremony. We have a nice little shield insignia. That is the same shield piece that was used on the very front. And this room is really tall. We've got a couple of nice builds for lights that kind of hang up halfway up these walls here. It's relatively simple other than that. We've got a couple of layered benches if you want to sit several minifigs. And let's jump back towards this clerk's office. Now they intentionally kept these walls just a little bit shorter so you can have, I think, a little bit more accessibility to get into these rooms. And here is a red filing cabinet in the back. I like that that is red, kind of breaks up the color scheme a little bit better. And we've got a small computer, almost looks like it could be a laptop, as well as a little stool, some cash, and a lamp. Also a plant. This room is relatively simple, but it's actually got a lot more detailing going on here than what you see in other rooms further up the floors. On the left-hand side of the hallway, we've got this, what I think is, I'm just calling it the staging area, and all it really is a simple bench and a statue build of a bust. So yes, just the head and shoulders. The floors and the walls in this first floor are all gray, with only just a little bit of dark green to break up the whole color scheme. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it looks a little bit boring ultimately, but all the items inside these rooms here certainly make this floor feel pretty complete. This is a really old style elevator, so there's just a black door that you have to open up to get inside the elevator. And let's go up to the second floor. Right off the bat, a nice little detail is that the elevator now has two buttons, one for up and one for down, where the first floor just had an up button, a single one. And right through the elevator, we have a small desk for what I believe is the secretary's desk. I think this part of the build is fine for the room, but this area in the center is what I can only assume is the lobby where the person waits to go to see the mayor in his office, and we don't have a bench or a chair or anything for the person to sit on. I like the build for the carpet, or rug more rather, but there certainly is space to fit some furniture here, and it feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity. What they do have instead of furniture is the glass door that opens out to the balcony, and I do really like this balcony. But anyways, let's just say you don't have to wait for the mayor and you go right into his office. He's got a nice build for a big blue chair. He's got a golden, or what I would assume is a brass lamp. And I'm gonna guess that gray frog is something like a paperweight or something. Also, this is the only room that has any artwork on the wall. It's a nice print for a ship, and I think it fits this room really well. And when you're looking around the rest of the floor, you'll note that there's quite a few missed opportunities to get a few more things to kind of be on the walls and have a little bit more decoration. The mayor's office looks good ultimately though, and you might have noticed back in the lobby, we've got a balcony. I guess this makes the auditorium feel a little bit more open, and you can kind of look down, just barely, but you can look down into the first floor. And with that, I guess we'll jump on up to the third floor. There you have a slightly better look at the ladder that leads up to the roof when you're in the elevator shaft. But the third floor is just this one big conference room. And what you see here is pretty much what you get. You got a nice table. I like the build for the chair. And the room is relatively sparse. We've got a few stools, not really full chairs that go around the table. And the corners have a couple of plants plus a spinning globe. There's still a very big opening on this floor for the balcony. And though I like the skylight that's on the top of the roof, I feel as if quite a lot of the interior building space was sacrificed just to have the auditorium on the first floor open to some sunlight. Now, I failed to mention this on the previous floor, but on the opposite end of this opening by the balcony, we've got sort of three window sills. They're a little bit simpler than the much more lavish ones sticking out on the front, but let's check out what they look like on the back. I didn't really show the outside of the back of the town hall very much. So here's what those windows look like on those top floors from the outside. As you can see, very simple. They have little shutters that open, and the first floor has some of the taller windows to make a nice sort of backdrop for this auditorium. Also, you can see one of those windows has been slightly abridged in order to make way for the back door. I like that. There's a little build for a lamp sticking out there. And next to where you operate the elevator, there's actually some maintenance doors for the janitor to either do some repairs or for the kids to kind of get themselves into trouble. All right, and I think we've gone through pretty much all aspects of the town hall. Let's check out some of these minifigs. All minifigs have the same simple smiling face, and the bride has a good print for the torso that goes on the front and both the back. The groom seems to have taken off his jacket and he's just wearing his vest and dress shirt, and I like that the line detailing on the suit is done in blue. He comes with a top hat, and here is our photographer. She's got that very common press badge printed torso piece, which I suppose wouldn't be totally necessary at a wedding, but it's a good print nonetheless. And she comes with this great accessory for this sort of overdone camera that's got a longer lens, and this pretty ridiculous attachment for a flash. In modern times, I feel like this could also look like a Steadicam rig for a DSLR. Next up is the mayor. The print for his torso showing that nice suit with the golden tie is not new, but it is one of the nicer suit prints in my opinion, and he comes with a little bit of graying hair as well as a briefcase. The secretary has a really nice hairpiece. Her bangs are sort of waving out to the side, and the hair is pulled back in a bun. I like that she's got purple pants. It matches up pretty well with the scarf around her neck. And let's check out the janitor. The print shows some overalls on the front with maybe some tools for wrenches or a pencil, and his smiling face is covered up with this little beard piece. He comes with a cap and an accessory for a broom. Nothing too special or unique here, but when we take a look at the children, I really like the prints for both of the torsos. The boy has a print that's sort of an homage to classic space, and the white torso piece goes very well with the green arms. In the instructions, it shows him initially holding this, what I'm assuming is a lemon pop, and the girl has a great piece that shows sort of this tank top. She's one of the few figs that has printing that goes around towards the back, and a good hairpiece that shows her bangs clipped to one side. She's got herself a magnifying glass, and there are all of the minifigs. And not only that, I think this is the entire set together. This town hall looks excellent from the front. I'd say the strongest features for the town hall are essentially the entire build for the front. There's just a lot of excellent decoration, some pretty clever building, and B, the building and decoration for the top. 1891 looks great. There's some clever building at the edge of the roof, And the clock tower definitely separates this building quite a bit and makes for an interesting skyline compared to the other modular builds. The interior I thought was lacking somewhat. Not necessarily bad building for the interior, but certainly a lot of missed opportunities. Ultimately, I think the town hall is a really excellent build, and when you've got it in a city setting, it's certainly going to be one of the buildings that stands out maybe a little bit more from the rest of the crowd. So here it is, fitting into the brick bank. We've just got a couple of little Technic pieces at the base to kind of fit them together nice and snug. And now that these two buildings are together, you can definitely see that height difference I mentioned earlier. It's great having these two buildings together, but really there is quite a bit of barren space. So I'm going to take this opportunity right now to ask you guys once again, which one of these modular buildings should we make next? I'm going to try to get one of these sets built once a week until they're all done, and I can't wait to see what this city looks like when they're all completed. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you enjoy our content, remember you can always like this video or subscribe, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.